Okay, so I'm going to go over the last question of the study guide since I ran out of time in the last video. And I know this one's really important, so let's do this. We are reflecting a rectangle FEDC over the x-axis and then the y-axis. So we're doing two reflections. First we have to flip all the points over the x-axis and then we'll flip them over the y. Okay, so let's go ahead and do my x-axis first, which is your horizontal axis. So I'm going to highlight over it in my red color so you can see which line we're going to start with. We're going to reflect all the points across this line. So starting with point F, alright, so I'm going to count the units that F is away from the line, the number of spaces that F sits away from the line. So I'm going to use my blue color. So I'm going to count each point. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. F is 4 spaces away. So what I need to do is count 4 spaces in the opposite direction and then place my point. Alright, so let's do another point. E. E is the same exact distance away. E is 1, 2, 3, 4 units away. So I'm going to count 4 more units. 1, 2, 3, 4 to reflect the point across my x-axis. Alright? So one thing I didn't do is I didn't label them, but I think it's important. Since we have to write the coordinates down, I want to make sure I keep everything organized so it's really easy to answer. Okay, so the other 2 points, C and D, so these are further away, but all I got to do is count the number of spaces. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 10 spaces away. That means I have to count 10 spaces in this direction. So that would be 10 right there. So at the very top of my graph. So C, and then I can tell that D would be right there since it's forming a rectangle. I kind of figure that one out without having to count. So those are my 4 points: F prime, E prime, D prime, and C prime. A little messy, but we can still see. Now the next one we're going to reflect over the y-axis, so we can draw a y-axis. We'll highlight over it, and now count. So let me switch colors. We'll do purple. So we count the distance each point is away from the axis. So F is 4 spaces away. So I'm going to count 4 spaces. Alright, so that's F. Now we would call it double prime since we did 2 reflections. And then E would be 7 because 3 and 4 make 7. So there would be E. E double prime. A little sloppy. And then I can tell where my other points would be pretty easily. So just make sure I label them. And last but not least, D. Right there. Alright, so now I've finished up my rectangle, and I'm going to go ahead and write my answers in the box. So F prime is at negative 4, 4. Then you have your other point, E is at negative 7, 4. Then you have point D, which is at negative 7, 10. And then you have your last point, C, which is at negative 4, 10. And that's it. So you won't have to do anything this involved on your benchmark. You're most likely just going to have to reflect 1 point, and that's all. And it's probably a multiple choice question, so you won't have to write all the points down. So it'll be a lot easier. All you have to do is read the question carefully and then do these steps, and you'll be good. So that's it for Benchmark Study Guide.